would be something truly special, and that I would engage with it as soon as humanly possible. But when are humans ever completely rational? Of the hundreds of media that I have ever been recommended, none have been recommended with as much fervent zealotry as Ergo Proxy, a sci-fi dystopian anime released back in 2006. And yet, I have avoided this anime like the plague. It's time to come clean. I have tried to watch Ergo Proxy multiple times over the last couple of years, and each time I could only get a few episodes in before I was bored to tears. No matter how many times people told me to be patient with it, that the show's central mystery would pay off in the end, I could not get over how slow it was, how disinterested I was in the mystery, the characters, the world, everything. Apparently, I'm not the only one. Other people have expressed the same frustration, most notably a fellow YouTuber named Scamboli Reviews. Unlike him, though, I didn't express my frustration publicly because Ergo Proxy was my most requested topic, and I didn't want to disappoint people. So, for a couple of years, I tried to quietly ignore the requests. Eventually, though, after years of requests piling up, I started to question whether or not the anime was actually slow, or if my autism and ADHD rattled brain couldn't tolerate a pace that other people would find normal. This question stimulated a sense of guilt that quickly metastasized within me, one that made my conscience ache every time I read the words Ergo Proxy in my comment section. Inevitably, I got tired of being reminded of my potential weakness, and from this, I magically found the strength to persevere through the entire series over the course of a week. So, did Ergo Proxy's depth parallel the number of times people requested it? I will answer that question with a metaphor. I surmised that watching Ergo Proxy is like meditation. If you meditate incorrectly, you will just be sitting still for an extended period like an idiot. Admittedly, I had the same problem when I first tried meditating on my own. But what completely changed things for me was when I put my full faith in a guide, somebody who would direct my attention to specific parts of my body and mind. I found that by putting full faith in Ergo Proxy, to follow its instruction instead of trying to impose my will on it, calling it slow and boring, I discovered an infinitely unfolding kaleidoscope of philosophical splendor. Just like with guided meditation, Ergo Proxy will provide a series of questions for you to contemplate, and if you follow their lead, you, just like the characters in the anime, will achieve higher and higher forms of consciousness. This is the element that separates Ergo Proxy from other philosophical anime. Other anime will spell out a deep philosophical problem with explicit detail and leave you with no room to discover its deeper implications for yourself. But Ergo Proxy purposefully withholds some information so you can peel back the layers on your own time, and it's so much more rewarding. For this reason alone, I am inclined to say that Ergo Proxy might be the most philosophical anime ever made. It's hard to say for certain, especially when you consider the depth of other anime like Ghost in the Shell, Psycho Pass, Serial Experiments Lain, Evangelion, Paranoia Agent, and many others. But as magnificent as those other anime are, none of them had me peeling back layers months afterward like Ergo Proxy does. Having said this though, I'm going to do something kind of counterintuitive to Ergo Proxy's purpose. I'm going to reveal its layers to you. Understandably though, there will be people that have come across this video, are hearing about Ergo Proxy for the first time, and want to try to discover those secrets for themselves. Taking this into account, I'm going to offer a non-spoiler introduction and analysis for the first half of this video, and then provide ample warning before I reveal the spoiler-filled deeper layers in the second half. Now, in order to make my case effectively, that Ergo Proxy might be the most philosophical anime ever made, I will start by providing a brief, spoiler-free synopsis. The story takes place in the year 7207. The Earth has been ravaged by a global ecological disaster, one that has wiped out the majority of the human population. Thankfully, humanity managed to survive, thanks to protective domes that were set up 5,000 years prior, around the time the initial disaster happened. After those 5,000 years, humans inside the dome have been able to return to a pretty high level of not only stability, but stress-free serenity. This is thanks to two primary factors. First, the domes are ruled by a government that are, for all intents and purposes, gods, in knowledge and in power. Their power extends so far that they have rendered humans unable to procreate on their own, and instead birth them with artificial wombs. This was done so that humans could be optimized in the wombs. That way, they could serve predetermined roles inside the dome, a state of affairs that makes humans unconscious and less autonomous, but ultimately happy. The second factor is that a large number of humans have android companions that help them with